Hi all, this is Mayur presenting FlowMate, the application from Scadea Software Solution. If I have to introduce the application in one sentence itself, this is an application which allows anyone to build workflows without any coding experience. Let me describe what is a business problem that we are trying to solve here. Organizations usually need basic requester approver type of application to manage their internal day-to-day functionality. Behavior of these apps would change as and when policy of organization changes. This leads to a repetitive cost to build, maintain, and update multiple apps. On top of that, these apps are for internal management purpose only and does not help organization to increase revenue directly. Considering the situation, organizations feel such in-house apps are increasing overhead rather than helping management. So let me describe you the key features and functionality that we are presenting. This application is primarily for two types of user, the admin user and basic user. Admin user has got four main functions. Build and manage workflow. That's first one. We would see that in detail. Second one is build and manage the form. The form itself we can build here along with the list of questions. Third one is basic admin operations. That is where you maintain the list of lookup values and also where you maintain which user belongs to which group. And finally, no need to mention there are multiple reports that an admin can see, the workflow wise report or user wise report. And of course, they can download all the data in Excel as well. This is all about the admin user. If I have to explain quickly about the basic user, then basic user will get to see a list of apps available in the system. As soon as the basic user opens any app, he'll be presented with two tabs, my cases and the task assigned to him. In the my cases, he would be able to see the cases created by him and where they are. And at the same time, in my task, he would be able to perform any task if assigned to him. That's all about the primary introduction. Let us quickly begin with our demo. For the demo, first of all, I need to build a form. Let us create a workflow for a project submission of any student. So for that, the very first thing I need to do is to build a form. Let's begin with that. I click the new form and here I get the very first thing. Let's give a title, project submission form. Who would be able or when this section would be editable, that is in the submission stage. How many columns we want? Let's say we want a two column layout. And in the primary details, we would be asking a required question, that is first name, last name, contact number, and lastly we would add yeah, here we have a feature to add number, paragraph, drop down, radio buttons, date, document, and whatnot. And lastly, for the demo purpose, we will have email address as well. Let me add another section. Let's call it project detail. This is editable in the submission stage. We want a single column layout. If I have to quickly add title, let's say project description, and finally, um, department or which subject is much better, isn't it? Yeah, that's enough. So that's it. Let me hit submit and let's see what happens. Here I get a new form created. Let us quickly review what we have built. When I click review, here is the first form. Here is the second form. And finally, this is the default section that we get. I'll explain the use of this while filling the form actually. Let me close this. Let me move forward with the second operation where we are designing the workflow. Submission flow. Need to map a form with this workflow, and we will have some logo for this. Yeah. The very first stage is submission, and student can submit 5 days and he can perform a submit action. And what would happen is defined in the condition builder. So here for the demo purpose, we are keeping very simple condition. Let's say when action is equal to submit, then the next stage would be, let's call it faculty approval. And let's build the second stage, that is faculty approval. To whom this is assigned to faculty, and faculty can either accept or reject. Let us define what happens. As a condition, we will add when action is equal to accept. The resultant stage is financial approval, and when action is equal to reject, then resultant stage is the submission. Back to submission. Second one is financial approval, to whom this is assigned to finance group. 5 days, and they can also accept or reject. And when finance guy accepts it, the case gets closed. And when finance guy rejects, the case goes back to faculty approval. And finally, I need to simply say that the workflow closes here by mentioning that this is the last stage of a workflow. Let me hit submit. And here we have the new workflow ready. Let me quickly show you what are the admin actions. From the manage lookup, here we are maintaining list of actions available. Here we are maintaining all the stages that we can ever map or associate with our workflow. These are the types of group right now available in our system. The second action is manage user group. Here we can define how many users we have in which group. We would be using faculty, student, and finance in these three groups for our demo purpose. That's all about basic configurations that an administrator can do. Let me jump to the end user, what end user would get to see. So here I have already logged in as one of a basic user. This is the student user. Let me refresh a page and I would be presented with a brand new application that we have just defined, that is project submission flow. When I open this, I, as an end user, as a student, will get to see if any case I created or any task assigned to me. When I click new case, here I get the whole of a thing. I get the form and also the workflow that our administrator user have just defined. Let me quickly fill this. Okay, so these are the basic details that a student is submitting, and when he clicks next, he get to see the actions and finally some comment he wish to add. Submit, and my case is ready. You can see that the current stage is faculty approval. The case is created by test user 2 on this time. Uh, let me change the user. Let me switch to the faculty user. And the faculty user is test user 3. Let me sign in. Hold on a second. Yeah, there you go. So test user 3 is a faculty user, and when I go for project submission flow, and in my task, faculty gets the next subsequent task. The case is C1 created by test user 2. When I click the submit task, I get to see all the detail which are been filled by the previous stage, isn't it? The submission, we had defined that this is going to be editable only when the workflow is in submission form or for submission stage. Currently, we are at faculty approval. So faculty gets to see the details of a project, and finally he says that, okay, I accept this and this is approved. You can also see the case history, what has happened in the past, if any change. In our case, there won't be any change. And here I submit. As a result, my task just vanishes, and the next task, subsequent task, is for finance team. So let me just quickly sign out and let me log in back with the finance team. So when finance guy comes to this project submission workflow and goes to my task, he would get to see the project details that currently it is at finance approval. When he clicks submit, he would get to see all the details. You can even see that currently the workflow is at finance approval. When I click next, let's say finance guy also accept this. This is approved, and he can also see the case history, what has happened in the past. And finally, let's say I click submit. So what happens here? All tasks are finishes. What about the case? So the case right now is completed. And finally, if I come back as an administrator, if I see here in the last thing, the case report thing, I get to see the case detail that currently it has been closed, which was created by test user 1. And what are the details? Of course, I am the administrator right now. I can see all the detail. When I click export, I get to see the download link. This will allow me to export my case detail. Right now we have kept it very simple, plain, but once it has been customized, we can customize it as per our client's requirement. So we get the case details, we get the task detail, what are the questions, and if at all any attributes were modified, all the details here exported. So that's all about the primary introduction. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.